Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So my robotic lawnmower is finally running now. I've been trying to get this thing for the past 2 or 3 years, and I was hoping to get an installation service to have someone install it for me. But then I think it just in my area I just couldn't find any installation service, so that's why finally I decided to install it myself. So if you watch my previous video, I got this thing like 2 or 3 weeks ago I think, and I did an unboxing video and show you everything, and that's my first video. And after that I spent my entire weekend, 2 days, trying to install the boundary wire and the guide wires to get everything working. So it's finally running now. I'm so happy about it. It's really definitely some moment I was dreaming of when I was pounding steaks around my yard last weekend. So this is day 2 of this lawnmower working. So it's the second day I have it running. So far I really like it. It hasn't lost yet in my yard, and it's going everywhere to cut it, so I'm really happy about this. And I think in this video I'm gonna talk about my installation experience and some basic knowledge I've learned so far. And then after I use this thing for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll try to make another video and give you more review and my experience of using the lawnmower. So let's first talk about installation. So if you're like me, you decided to install it by yourself, you will need to buy the installation kit. If you just buy the lawnmower, it just has a lawnmower in there. There's no cable and no wires and nothing in there. You gotta buy the installation kit, which has the wires for the boundary wire and all the stakes in there. And actually, I didn't buy the installation kit. After doing some research, I decided to buy some heavy-duty wires myself, and I bought the stakes and the connections separately from their website. So I didn't buy the installation kit myself actually. And then another thing is, before I started the work, I watched several videos. There's one official video from Husqvarna official account on YouTube. It's like a 30 minutes video telling you everything about installation. So if you're gonna install yourself, I highly recommend watching that. It tells you all the details in there, which is I did. And then after that, I just did the work myself. So I would say my experience with this is the installation process is not bad, but then it's definitely harder than what I thought. First of all, my yard I won't consider it super large. It's about 4.4 acres with some trees and patios, you see. So it's not super complicated, but then the installation process is definitely harder than I thought. So I think the number one reason is, if you read their manual, they will say that when you are pounding steaks, the maximum distance between two stakes, they have to be 75 centimeters. But then the reality is that they also mention that if you have any like a low spot on your grass, you don't want the cable to be hanging like above the grass. What I mean is, if you look details in there, so if you have your cable running, and then this is like a low spot in here, you're gonna have your cable hanging like this. So they said that you don't want that because the lawnmower may cut the cable. So in that situation, you're gonna need to add one more stakes in there. So because of that, I ended up using much more stakes than what they recommended. So for example, if you buy a large installation kit, they give you 600 stakes. And then in the end, for my yard, not super complicated, I actually used more than 1,200 stakes. It's probably more than what I needed. And I always trying to remind myself that, say, if I hire someone doing this work for myself, no one gonna be so, I would say, obsessive about these hanging cables. No one gonna pound in so many stakes, but just because I'm doing it myself, I care. So I probably overdid it, but then in the end, yeah, I did 1,200 stakes and crawled everywhere in my yard and trying to put the cables. It's really some hard labor work. So I would say, depending on what you do for your day job, if this is something you're used to do, probably not too bad. But then if you have a like office job, and even if you're consider yourself a fit, you probably gonna have some like sore arms and sore back in there. So in the end, my experience is, if you can get a professional installation service, go get it. Don't try to do it yourself. And especially if you look at the price tag, the bundle with installation service is like $800 more than the self-install option. So I would say this is definitely not something that anyone can pay me for $800 to do this. So I would say that installation service is definitely worth it. But then in the end, I did it. I was sore for several days and finally got it working. So hopefully I don't have to do it again. I'm just super happy it's working now. Then I guess several tricky things I learned during installation is, first of all, you got to, there are different boundaries they will consider. For anything like this, if your boundary is flat, you can probably do it like it's like 10 centimeters away. So you see the robot gonna drive over. It will actually try to drive over and cut through in there, so you don't have to string trim it. If you have a garden bed without the brakes like what I have do in there, if you just have a garden bed with mulches, then I think you're gonna have to do it, what's the distance in there? I think you have to do it like 14 inch away from it. Anything like this tree, hard boundary, you're probably gonna have to do it 16 inches away so that the robot won't bump into it. So another thing I learned is I didn't create a lot of island, because what I learned from those videos, trees are probably fine to handle the bumps. So if the robot running in the tree, this big of tree is still gonna survive. So I actually did not create island around this tree. I'm just gonna have my robot bump into it. I did create some island on some tricky areas. One thing is here, see, this is my downspout from the sump pump. So I don't want my robot to fall in there or even cut through the plastic pipes in there. So I actually create island around it to avoid situation like that. I guess another thing is actually in the manual, in the video, they said that if your yard is next to a public road, you're supposed to build like a 20 centimeter wall along this to prevent a robot from running into the street. I don't know anyone doing that. I didn't do it, so hopefully that's okay, because that will be super weird for the yard. So that's about the installation. And then let me briefly talk about the operation thing there. I'm just chasing my robot now. So one thing I learned is it's actually very quiet. I see no problem running it overnight. It won't interrupt anyone's sleep. So you can hear that. You can't really hear anything from the motor. The only thing you can hear is the grass being cut. You see this noise in there? It's literally the blades are cutting the grass. So that's the only noise you can hear when you sit next to it. You won't hear anything if you're in a house. It's definitely much quieter than any of the gas equipment. Now, another thing I learned is it's not really cutting much. So I guess the theory of this robotic lawnmower is it will cut little but cut often. So see, I'm following the robot, but then you actually don't see a very clear cutting path. If you look closer, you may see it's kind of being cut through, but then it's not that clear. You certainly won't have that satisfying feeling when you're mowing your grass using a gas lawnmower. I know some people consider mowing grass as therapeutic because especially you use a gas lawnmower, you just cut through and you see the grass being cut much lower than other area. And using this lawnmower, you're not gonna see anything because it's only cutting a little. But then hopefully by cutting it every day, it will get better and better. And then another surprise I have is now the capacity of this mower, they said it can cut up to 0.8 acre, and my yard is 0.4. But then they actually have some formula, and you have to do some math so that you calculate the minimum cutting hours each day. So based on that, every day I need to have this lawnmower running for 12 hours actually to maintain my yard. So this is a long hour in there. So this is kind of a surprise that I have to like keep the mower running every day for 12 hours to maintain the height. But then I guess free labor, right? I'm fine with that. So the last thing I want to mention is actually so if you watch my first video, that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got a robot and I installed it immediately over the past weekend. And then what happened, right? And why it has me 3 weeks. And another thing you probably noticed, my grass is super high at this point. So what happened was I got it installed, and then first time I tried to get it running, it backed off from the charging station, and then it's just got lost. It's like turning in circles. It's like it was hitting some invisible walls, and then after a while it just stopped, saying it's the rear collision sensor error. So it's kind of a big disappointment for me. And then my neighbor was just watching it across my yard in their backyard, and it just failed right in front of them. And then I started to do some research. Some people are saying it's a sensor issue, there's some magnets in there. But then this is a brand new lawnmower, it shouldn't happen in that way. So in the end, it's probably a lemon I got. Since it's brand new lawnmower, I pretty much just returned that one and got the second one as a replacement. And then because of that, I have to wait for a week for this one to arrive. And then during this time, we got several storm and the raining days, and that's why you see my grass is very long now. I didn't want to cut it again with my gas lawnmower because it's kind of embarrassing now. All my neighbor knows we got an automower, so I just kind of waited and see how my lawnmower handled the high grass at this moment. So alright, I think that's everything I want to mention about my installation experience. Some very hard labor installation experience. I got some like a blister actually on my hand because of that. Sore back, sore arms, but the result is really satisfying. Seeing my grass being cut by a robot now. So alright, so I'm gonna just try to enjoy my time without cutting my grass for the summer. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, and after I get more experience of using it, I'll try to post another video and letting you know how I feel. And if you have any questions about self-installation, please let me know. Alright, thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel.